Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a great show. Big issue going on right now with Ginsburg, just biting the dust. You got a vacancy open in the Supreme Court. The big question is, should we fill that seat or not? That's a big question. Now, from everything I'm reading and finding out about this, nowhere does it say that there is any rule of like a time limit, that it can't be done in a certain amount of time or a minimum amount of time. Nowhere does it say that it can't be done during an election year. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. But to my understanding, I just listened to a speech from Biden back in the 90s, and to his credit, he was against doing it in the election year, so he at least has history on his side for that. But the electing or appointing of a Supreme Court justice during an election year is not a rule. It's not a part of procedural. It's not a part of procedure regarding this whole situation. It's more of a courtesy. Now, and if it's just a courtesy, with as much as the two sides are at each other's throats, and what have we been seeing in the past recent months with comments from Pelosi and Schumer? What have they said? They have literally said that the right is the enemy, that they're evil, that they're awful people. Literally calling out saying it. And then let's look at Kavanaugh. Let's look at how Kavanaugh was appointed and what they did to that man. How they put him through the ringer. They literally called him a rapist. They called him a gang rapist. They threw everything they could at him to try to get that appointment knocked out. Should the Republicans be courteous at this point in time? And I think no. I think with how it is and how vastly different we are in opinions, that we can't come to common ground anymore. We used to come to common ground that, hey, we're all Americans, we all love the same thing. It's not that anymore. The left doesn't love America. The left wants to destroy the Constitution. They support the Marxist group Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They've done nothing to stop the looting and rioting, to stop the pain and suffering from average American citizens. I don't believe they care about the country. So why should any of us care about the fact of courtesy, being courteous to them and giving them an opportunity to have a Supreme Court justice nominee? I don't think we should give it to them. And by all accounts, we are following the rules of the United States government. We're following the procedures that have been passed down for hundreds of years. There's nothing being done wrong. And then people say, well, it's being done too quickly. It's being done too quickly. Okay? Well, if you want to look at it, 45 days until election, there's been according to the Daily Wire, there's been three Supreme Court justices, including Ginsburg herself, were confirmed in less than 45 days. So to anyone that says there's not enough time, it's too short of a time, too short of a window to appoint a Supreme Court justice, that's false. It's happened before, and Ginsburg herself was done that. They try to use that as a little guilt trip to, like, well, this was her dying wish. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ginsburg. Respect to you and your work in the Supreme Court and your public service, but this isn't Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is the United States government. I appreciate that fact, but sorry. I think they should nominate someone. I think they should get them in, and from all accounts, I mean, the Republicans have the majority to pass through, as long as you have a couple. I think there's two right now, that two Republicans saying that they won't vote it through. But we're right now going through the facts of that there's technically nothing legal. There's nothing inside the Constitution that says there's anything wrong about appointing a nominee. So anyone that tells you otherwise is not being honest. Cruz talking about the election dispute, and I mean, that's another thing. We already have so much controversy and so much worry about whoever gets elected. If you try to push this off, and I mean, Democrats are going to say whatever they can to make this happen, because it's their only chance of getting a Supreme Court nominee. Of course, they would absolutely say anything, but They are literally saying anything. Pelosi, we have our options, impeaching Trump again, like doing whatever they can, and say that what are the grounds for impeachment? He's not breaking any rules. Trump is not breaking any rules by appointing someone to be a Supreme Court justice. So what are you impeaching him on? It's kind of just like before. You're impeaching him for nothing, which is why it didn't work the first time. It's just like they throw out anything they can to say, oh, we're going to impeach him. We're going to impeach him. But it goes way beyond that. I mean, Schumer's sitting going, nothing is off the table. What does that mean? I mean, even just the other day, a package addressed to Trump at the White House was full of ricin, one of the most potent poisons out there known to kill people, a specific poison. So when you're making comments like this, nothing is off the table, that should kind of worry you. And not to mention, from the very first day that Ginsburg passed, what do you have? You have major influential people. If they even try to replace RBG, we burn the entire thing down. If McConnell jams someone through, which he will, there will be riots. Well, that's kind of a that's not really much of a threat, considering we've already had 3 months of riots. So, like, I mean, okay, you're gonna riot more? All right. If they ram through an appointment in the next 2 months, I will riot. Okay, all right, but we're shutting this country down if Trump and McConnell try to ram through an appointment for. So they're literally threatening. I mean, we all know the definition of terrorism. Using threats of violence in order to have political gain. Like, is this not threatening? We will riot. We will tear this other effort down. We will destroy it. We're going to burn it down. Is that not terrorism in itself? Making threats to push political gain? Like we just discussed, unless there's something I'm completely missing, which I don't think there is. What are we doing technically wrong? What is either wrong or illegal or against procedures inside the United States government to appoint someone? Here's a question I pose to you. If there was a Democrat president and this happened and you had a Supreme Court justice spot open up, do you think the Democrats would hold back? I don't think so. I believe with everything in my heart they would push through. Like they said, they're already willing to do anything. Nothing's off the table. I mean, they're even willing to burn the system down. That's what a whole bunch of people, major influential people on the left are saying right now. Nothing's off the table. We'll do whatever we can. We'll burn the system down. So what do you think they would do if they were in a position? Do you think they would hold back? Do you think they would be courteous and not appoint someone? The simple fact is, when a justice position opens up, it is the president's job to appoint someone. It's the Senate's job to confirm them through. That's it. You can discuss that. Hey, well, Trump's unethical because he's not following courtesy. Okay, fine. You can make that argument, but he's technically doing nothing wrong. Here's the whole process, at least according to KIRO 7. Here's the whole process for electing a nominee. The president selects a nominee. On the death, retirement, or impeachment of a Supreme Court justice, the president has constitutional duty to nominate someone to take his or her place. Article 2 of the United States Constitution, the Appointment Clause, gives the executive branch the authority to appoint court justice. The clause reads in part, he shall nominate and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate shall appoint judges of the Supreme Court and all the other officers of the United States whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for and which shall be established by law. It is his constitutional duty to get someone in that office. And I would say as quickly as possible, because we need that spot filled. That's an important spot. That spot has a purpose. Those 9 seats of justices have a very specific purpose. We need people in them. We need people in them making decisions and keeping the country running. Not an easy task. The president generally looks for a person with substantial judicial experience, one who shares his ideology, almost always a member of the same political party, of course, and one who actually has a chance to be confirmed by the Senate. Before the nominee is announced, he or she is investigated by the FBI and other agencies. Of course, very natural. Number 2, the confirmation process. Who can serve on the high court? Anyone. Basically anyone. There's no qualifications. Since the Constitution does not set qualifications for a Supreme Court justice, the only hurdles the Constitution requires is that the nominee be confirmed by the Senate in order to take a seat on the court. Once the nominee is put forth by the President, the nomination will go before the Senate's Judiciary Committee. The committee is currently made up of 11 members of the majority party, the Republicans, and 9 members of the minority party, the Democrats. The ratio of members is based on the ratio of majority to minority members of the Senate. Senator Lindsey Graham from South Carolina is the chairman of the committee. Dianne Feinstein of California is the ranking member. The Judiciary Committee will hold hearings questioning the nominee, supporters, and opponents. The nominee attends the hearings, which can last for days, despite the fact that the Constitution does not require a nominee to testify. The committee's practice of personally interviewing nominees isn't historical, and the committee only began to do it in the 1940s. After the hearings, a vote is taken in the committee. The nominee will receive a favorable recommendation, a negative one, or the nomination will be reported to the full Senate with no recommendation. So here we go to the whole floor. The floor vote. If the nomination makes it out of the committee and to the Senate floor, it is at the mercy of the majority party, since the party sets the agenda for the Senate action. The majority leader, currently Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, will determine when the nomination sees the light of day on the full Senate floor. There is no time frame for him to act. He's already said he's going to push it through, so he's going to be pushing it through as quick as possible. And again, nothing wrong with that. That is his ability. And my point is, if it was a Democrat-run person, they would be doing the same thing. Likewise, once a nomination makes it to the floor, debate could go on for an indefinite time period since there is no limit on debate on a nomination. If it does get to a vote, it's a simple majority vote to either confirm or reject the nominee. An end run. While Senate confirmation is required for a nominee to be appointed to the Supreme Court, if the President wants to, he can make a temporary appointment to fill the vacancy without the Senate having anything to do with it or even being in session. If the Senate is on recess, the President can make something called a recess appointment, meaning he simply appoints someone to the vacant court seat. The person appointed would serve on the court until the end of the next Senate session. After that point, the person appointed must go through the formal process of being nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate. Potter Stewart was the last recess appointment. The Supreme Court made 1954 by Dwight D. Eisenhower. So here we go. Nothing's... If Republicans push through and get a Supreme Court justice nominee and get them voted on, not breaking any laws, not breaking any procedural policies, just doing the sole duty of the President of the United States and the Senate, doing one of their jobs. You may not like it, but guess what? That's just the name of the game. If it would have happened immediately the next year, if she passed, or another Supreme Court, God forbid, they pass away, and say Biden gets elected, well, then that's just the roll of dice. He gets to choose. That's how the system was set up. That's how the system operates. Just because something happens in a manner which you don't like it, doesn't mean you get to change it automatically. And that's exactly what's happening with the Democrats and in this situation. I feel like that's exactly what's happening with the election. They feel like they're going to lose, so we got to change the whole system months before the presidential election. That's kind of, that seems to be the standard operating procedures for the people on the left is, oh, well, we think we're going to lose, or we don't like the way something's being run, so we're just going to change it all immediately right now, where it'll work out in our favor. Man, this was adding some gasoline onto the fire. We've already been dealing with the riots that have been going on, the COVID debacle, the presidential debate, and then this, stuff's getting scary as it is, but man, this is another gas tank on the fire. So we'll see how it plays out. Leave a comment. Give me your opinion on what you think should or shouldn't happen. I've given you mine. I've given the facts that as I've seen them, as I've found them. Maybe you can show me something more. If you like the videos, if you like my channel so far, please subscribe. Give my video a like. And one of the best things you do is for open discussion, share this video and get more people involved in the discussion. But I think this is definitely, I think talking is always a good thing. I think we need to be discussing politics more instead of trying to put a knife at each other's throat. But